Welcome to all my devious Dynasty degenerates out there. We are barreling towards the halfway mark of the season, and hopefully by now you're separating yourself from the other league mates that you have on your way to Dynasty glory. But unfortunately, some of us have questions about our rosters, and we really don't want to be in that Dynasty purgatory where we get mid-round picks, but we're no threat to compete for that chip. So tonight, Rich and I, we're going to look at your rosters. We're going to, give you our thoughts on your squad and try to help you decide, like, should I stay or should I go now? I mean, we don't want you to have trouble, but we want you to take that championship pot and make it double. You see what I'm saying? Rich, I'm going to put you on the spot right now. I know it's already early. We haven't seen each other in a couple weeks, but I'm putting you on the spot already. If I told you it was time to start the show and you were in control of that intro button, would you treat it like an auto trade and smash it? Let's go. Hello. Before we get started, I just want to say, Rich, that nobody hits the intro button like you hit the intro button, man. So I'm just,
Right. Oh, thank you. I'd like to just treat it lovingly,
Oh, lovingly. Okay.
Yeah.
Try a little tenderness. Okay, I got you. But everybody, welcome, everybody who is tuning in on YouTube or listening to us via podcast. We appreciate you hanging with us. Like I said all the time, we wouldn't be what we're doing right now if it was not for you. So happy to have you with us. Remember to post your comments, questions, or whatever you might have in the chat, whether it be trade, buy, sell, or any questions. We'd love to interact with you guys, and it's your show as much as it is ours. Albert, good to see you. Jamie, you as well. We appreciate everybody who's in the chat. Just feel free to talk to us. Like, we'll talk back. Rich is really good at paying attention to what's going on in the chat, especially when you tell him how nice his beard looks. But leave us alone, and we'll get to you as soon as we can. Rich, my friend, I apologize that I wasn't here last week. Had so much stuff going on, but got through that, and I'm back with you. And I just want to let you know that I've missed you, buddy. How you doing?
I'm happy you're back, man. I'm happy you're back. I mean, we handled it and everything, but it's just not the same without you. It's just not the same. No, I'm doing good. Just flying high on some content creation and ready to break down these teams tonight.
I hear you. Yeah, I'm excited about that too. And hopefully we help everybody, get to where they want to be, because we want all you guys that are paying attention to just hoist those championships. I can't wait to see all the pictures of people who've won and everything that, with us throughout the season, Rich. So that's going to be great. And Rich, before we get started though, I just want to say to our boss, El Jefe, Jorge Edwards, the president, CEO, and everything of Fantasy and Frames, he and his wife, Melissa, and the new addition, Nathaniel, so happy for you guys. Glad we got another fifth member who is going to be doing articles. I feel really, really soon. So I just wanted to send a special shout out to them because they are such amazing people. And I mean, welcome to the world, Nathaniel. So much love to those guys. All right.
Absolutely.
Before we get into the news and notes, we see that Jamie is already in the chat. He says he got a trade offer. He's 2-4. He's 9th in overall points, and he was offered Rashee Rice, Trey Benson, a 2025 first, somewhere between 8 and 12, the back end of the first, for his A.J. Brown and DeAndre Swift. What are you thinking about that? Which side are you on, Rich?
Right. This is a tough one so for me, I'm looking at Rashee Rice, and I'm nervous about the fact that, one, he's going to be out for the rest of the season, and two, then he's got the legal stuff coming up this next year. So he's probably not going to be playing for much of next year either. So there's a little bit of hesitation there. I do like Benson a lot. That 25 first, that's a nice pick. AJ Brown and Swift. If we were still looking at Swift the way that he looked at the beginning of the year, I'd probably say that I'm making that I'm smashing that button. But the way that things are going, you know what? Yeah, I'm still taking the trade. I think that in the end of things, that Rashee Rice will be fine. Like I said, I really love Benson in Arizona, so he's going to be the guy at some point here.
Yeah, I like a lot what you're saying. I'm looking at it being like, so 2 and 4. Okay, like you can still come back from that and you can actually make a run. Making the dance is the most important thing because everything happens once you get in there. But then when you say 9th in points, that right there just leads me to believe that the rest of your squad is not really putting up those numbers that you want. So, Jamie, is it because of injuries or is just, you got people on the team that are underperforming? Oh, and you still have your first also? Oh, well, that right there, like if you've got your first, then I think I'm with Rich. I'm taking that trade and moving on to Cincinnati. We're going to the next year and just see what happens there.
Yeah.
Because like with Swift, I don't feel okay. Yeah, injuries have been a killer for us. So many people, so I feel your pain there. But yeah, with Swift losing him, I don't really feel that it's much of a loss just because you never know which Swift you're gonna get, and he's so frustrating to watch because he's so talented. But you can watch him play and see that he does not run the play as designed, and it's so frustrating for me watching TV. I imagine that he burns coaches up because just run the play, man. Like. I'm trying to get you back in Georgia. You're not there, getting replaced by. Yes, we're both. You got 2 of us, and take that trade and move on there, Jamie. So I hope that works out for you. Let us know
Absolutely.
how it goes. And let's see where we at. Here we go. All right. So we have come to the part of the show that we like to start off every day. We're talking about news and notes of the week. It's going to be a little bit different this week. So bear with us, but you're welcome, my friend. But let's go ahead and we'll start off. So, Rich, question for you. I'm talking about CMC, Christian McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, and Hawkinson. Are you buying or selling them coming back to help your team in the next 2 weeks? I'm giving you a time frame on it. This week, next week.
Ooh. Okay, so CMC, no, not buying.
Okay.
Chubb, I think, does come back a little bit. I think he's going to come back in the next couple of weeks with everything that's going on with Ford and the fact that Chubb has looked pretty good. I think he does come back. But is he going to save your season with what's going on with the Browns and everything right now? I don't know. Maybe they go Adrian Peterson, Christian Ponder era and just run the crap out of the ball. So that's what I'm banking on, and I have a lot of Chubb shares. So yeah, I'm hoping for. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes. Just protecting my bag here.
Okay.
And then Hawkinson, I think I've said it before on here. I'm not sure, but I am a little bit worried about what his role looks like in that offense when he comes back. I don't know what. We've never really seen Darnold and how he likes to play with his tight ends. He really hasn't utilized them much now. Mm-hmm. I think Hawkinson's going to be a little bit lower in the pecking order than what he was previously. So I think I'm selling him right now.
Okay. All right. So for me with CMC, because that whole caveat of helping your team in the next 2 weeks, CMC, no, I'm selling that because I don't think he's coming back until after the bye week. So they have a bye week in week 9, I believe. So week 10, I think, is the earliest that you will see CMC. Just in time for those people who weather the storm to light it up if he's what we expected him to be.
Right.
Nick Chubb's playing. But is Nick Chubb going to be the Nick Chubb that you remember and love? I don't think so. Not because of Nick Chubb coming off that injury, but because Callahan's gone, and that offensive line went from being the best in the NFL to absolute garbage. So running behind that scrubtastic line, especially when nobody's fearing the pass because Deshaun Watson has been slightly better than a dumpster, and now we'll get into this a little later, but who's the number 1 wide receiver in Cleveland right now? So I think Chubb is coming back at an absolute terrible time. The team is in a terrible spot. And so I'm selling him helping your team. He's going to play, but I don't think he's really going to help your team. I think you should temper your expectations and really not expect more than 5 points because how many touches are they going to give him coming back? And then Hawk, that one, I'm selling Hawk helping also, although I think he's coming back and, he's going to be out there on the field. But I think it might take a game or 2 before he, gets assimilated or gets used to, Sammy Darnold out there doing his thing. But I do think end of season, Hawk will be that guy, as you've been saying,
so?
like all season. I do think so. I think the Hawk will really help out a lot. I think the offense, I mean, it's going to be so many dimensionals. It's going to be really hard to stop. So I think it will open some stuff up for him. So that's how I feel with that. And we have another question. Kamani Vidal on a 3-3 team, second in division. Should he hold or should he sell? I'll let you go first.
I'm holding Kamani Vidal. I think that he's going to be. I think that there's a good chance that he's the guy in the long run. I mean, it all depends on what's going to happen with J.K. Dobbins and everything, of course, too. Is he going to hold up? They're running him a lot. We were talking about this on the Waiver Wire show last night. Like, I'm a little nervous about how much work Dobbins is getting. So I do think that Vidal is somebody that if you have him now, you hold on to him and hope it works out better than it did for Sean Tucker. But even Sean Tucker's starting to show up. So, you never know.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100% on this. Like, I'm holding Vidal right now just because. So the Gus bus is already on IR.
Yep.
And like, have we ever seen Dobbins finish a season?
Right.
And like you say, they're using him a lot. I mean, so I think Vidal is definitely someone to have. I think, you hold him if you have him. If you don't have him and you don't have Dobbins, I really don't see the point of going and getting him. But if you have him, like, definitely keep him as that cuff. So that's how I feel about that one. And we have another one
coming in hot.
Yeah, Z Nava or Nava, I think it's Nava. He sold CMC for a fourth. CMC and a fourth for Roma Dunze and a third today. Like, he's in a rebuild. What's your thoughts on that one?
I like that, actually. Okay. I think that I wasn't really big on Rome. I mean, it depends on what you're. Okay, this is as a rebuilder. Yeah, no, I like that a lot. I think that Rome is going to be good in the long run of things. He's already starting to show up really well with Caleb Williams throwing in the ball. They're finally starting to figure things out, and that offense looks a lot better than it did to begin the year. So, and CMC, who knows how many more years he's actually going to play. He's already taken quite the beating. There's a lot of wear on those tires. So, yeah.
I agree. So I'm looking. I guess the only question that I do have is, did you try to sell CMC to everyone in the league, and that is the best deal you could get? Because I was selling CMC like 2 years ago just because I never want to be holding the bag when that running back rolled off the cliff. And I was wrong last year, but this year, like, he hasn't helped the team out so much. But I still feel that because he holds name value, that there's some people out there like, oh my God, he's going to be the greatest thing ever, and overpay for a half a season because, just like Rich said, I don't know how long he's going to play. But I see nothing wrong with that deal, especially if you shopped it around and that's the best you can get, because I think Rome is going to be somebody in this league. I liked him a lot. And we've seen that Keenan Allen, he's on the back nine. He's about to come to the clubhouse. So, that young offense is about to go. So that's where we feel with that. So we appreciate those guys. So keep them coming. All right, Rich. Next thing we're going to talk about in our news and nugget second. So I don't know if you've heard this or not, but there was two pretty big trades that happened yesterday. I don't know if you want to say big trades or just big names that got traded yesterday. I don't know if you've heard this or not. It kind of went under the radar.
Right.
But the first one we'll talk about, like, did you know Davante Adams is now a New York Jet?
I had no idea. No clue.
Well, yep. So I'm glad I'm the one that's breaking it to you. Call me, Dynasty Schefter out here. But so Davante Adams, which many people speculated for a long time was going to end up with the Jets. So they've been speculating this for 2 seasons now. But he is finally a New York Jet. And miraculously, that injury that was keeping him from playing, like in Vegas, like he's playing, he's playing in New York. That cold East Coast air, like, really helped him, healed him really quickly. So he's going to play. But let me ask you, with Adams, with the Jets now reunited with his boy Aaron Rodgers, what's his dynasty outlook? Like, what are you thinking for just Davante Adams moving forward?
For Davante Adams by himself, I mean, he's gonna get peppered. Like, Rodgers is going to target the crap out of him. That's going to happen. So I think that he's definitely a buy right now. And he's at the end of his career. So I think that you could get him for like a second. I feel like that would be a decent price, right? Maybe if you're definitely contending, maybe a late first if you think that it's going to be the 112. But even that, I'd be hesitant on it. My knee jerk reaction to this was I hate it. I hated this trade, and maybe it's just because I hate Rodgers. but I hated this trade. Right. But no, this is going to be good for Adams. He's back with Rodgers. It's going to be good for Rodgers. He's got his guy again. I'm worried about the whole team, though. I don't know what about you? Like, what's your thoughts on the dynasty outlook of it for him and for the whole team?
Okay, yeah. So first of all, like I agree with what Jamie's saying in the chat here. It's just another reason for people to laugh at the Jets when they missed the playoffs. This will be the best offense of NFL history to not play a playoff game, and the window is going to close really quickly because the cap implications of these moves that they made to placate. Well, I digress. It's going to be fun seeing how Woody Johnson gets out of this one, especially if they don't make the playoffs. But so for me, like, I agree with you. I think that Davante Adams is going to get peppered, like, and it's because Aaron Rodgers loves him and he does what Aaron Rodgers wants him to do. They know each other. They have that relationship on the field. We saw that before he left Green Bay, when he was the only receiver in town after Jordy Nelson kind of went down, that there was Davante Adams. Like, didn't care if he was bracketed, double covered. Aaron Rodgers didn't care. Aaron Rodgers threw it to Davante Adams. I mean, Davante Adams was hurt, and he still hit him a couple times on the sidelines, with the pass. It's just he loves that guy, so he is going to throw it to him. I do feel that Wilson, if there's any owners that are panicking on, like Wilson right now, I want him. Like, depending on what the price is, I want Wilson because he is a talent. And with Davante Adams over there, like drawing more coverage, I mean, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. It should open up more for Wilson. So if Rodgers, like, you know what, I'm going to give you a bone because my guy's over here, he's like really covered, so I'm going to throw you something. It should open up some stuff for Wilson. Once he gets the ball in hand, he does stuff. That's when it comes down to the pecking order. I kind of feel sorry for Mike Williams. I think he's going to be the odd man out. I think Aaron Rodgers made that pretty clear, by, telling everybody that he ran the wrong route, even though that pass was a little suspect. I think Lazard is going to be, he's reunited the gang. So I think Lazard is going to usurp Williams and he's going to get more targets. Breece Hall.
He was already doing well.
Yeah, he was. And I kind of feel that now Lazard, he can move inside or do other stuff and just be Aaron Rodgers. Now if they reactivate Cobb, then we really got an issue going. Randall Cobb laces them up again then.
Right.
Yeah. But so I think the person that loses the most in this situation is going to be Breece Hall. Even though they have a good offensive line and Breece Hall is a stud running back, used inefficiently because of Hackett's play calling, although, they took that away from him, so we'll see how that goes. But with Aaron Rodgers on the field, and he's got two dynamic weapons in Davante Adams, and he's got Wilson out there as well, I really feel that any, question to play Aaron Rodgers, I could just see him checking out of it just to give his boys a touchdown, and Breece is just sitting there just getting his however many carries. It really depends on what Aaron Rodgers wants to do because he is the coach, CEO, owner. Like, he's everybody. It should be the New York Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel like the effect on the team. I don't think they're going to be much better. I don't think that, Davante Adams is what's going to tip them over. Now, maybe if Aaron Rodgers' attitude is happy because he's reunited with one of his best friends, then the morale gets better and they play better. I think that is the only thing that would help them, but I'm going to hold true to the Jets are going to jet until they prove me wrong.
Yeah. Yep. No, I'm with you. Yeah. I think you nailed it on all of them. That's as far as Wilson goes. That was exactly what I was going to say too, was it's good and bad for Wilson. Like, it's good in the fact that, yeah, you're right. He's going to get less coverage. He's going to get lesser coverage where he's going to be able to make some plays, but he definitely isn't going to get the targets that he was getting. That 20 plus target game, that's not happening again. 10 plus target games, I don't think that's happening again.
Nope.
So yeah, no, I really do think that it's bad for him. Williams is dead. I is he even in the facility anymore? I'd be really surprised.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they updated that video where he's going to the facility and he can't get in. Hard Knocks from back in the day, like it's going to be Williams.
Right.
Poor guy. Like him and Breece should have tried to, on that train and head out of town too.
Yep.
All right, so there's more teams involved in this trade. So the Raiders, they're on the other side of that ball. So what are the implications for the Raiders? Is Brock Bowers now the clear-cut alpha receiving talent and, well, just a clear-cut anything on offense?
I think, I do think that Bowers is gonna feast. I mean, what else are they gonna do? You do got Jacoby Myers there, which I really like Jacoby Myers going into the season, so I'm even more excited about what he could do potentially. I mean, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It is the Raiders. Are they really going to do that much anyways? But no, I do think that Myers will have a better season now, and like I was saying, Brock Bowers, he's going to feast. He's going to get all the targets. I would be surprised if he doesn't finish tight end 1. I was actually looking at the numbers today, and I was surprised that he wasn't tight end 1. George Kittle came out of nowhere.
Yeah, George Kittle had a couple monster games.
Yeah.
So all right, so I'm in agreement. I think that Brock Bowers is that dude now. Like, I mean, it's like the road just completely open for him to just ascend to that tight end from 1, just because of the opportunity that he should now have. I think Jacoby Myers moves at the board, and Jacoby Myers has proved, like, even when Devontae Adams missed a couple times, like some games, that he can step in and he can be somebody. We'll see what that is. I think that it's, flex play, wide receiver 3 territory, maybe with a low end wide receiver 2 week. I mean, I think that's in the realm of possibilities. But are there any other dynasty assets that you're thinking for the Raiders? Like, could Trey Tucker be somebody other than Brock Bowers that you're thinking of? Or is there somebody, like Alexander Madison? Are you interested in him for dynasty? Is there anybody other than Brock Bowers on the Las Vegas Raiders right now that you're like, you know what? Let's see what happens with them.
Right. Yeah. Well, as far as Alexander Madison goes, he was my waiver wire pickup for this week on this waiver wire show yesterday. I would be surprised if he's not the starting back, but he's never been a very efficient back. Like I was saying when I first said that he was my waiver wire pick for the week, like, it just gave me the ick picking him as my guy, because being a Minnesota Viking fan, I had to watch him for a whole season just struggle to run the ball. And so I'm not buying him in Dynasty, no. And I think this is going to hurt the quarterbacks because they don't have Devontae Adams to throw to anymore. Across the boards, like, other than Myers and Bowers, those are the only 2 that I really want. And even those 2 Myers is going to have a hard time just because he's going to be getting all the best coverage. So, okay.
Yeah. Are you picking Antonio Pierce in your coach's Dynasty League?
Nope.
Me neither. Like, glad you took that job, buddy. I hope you are saving those checks. But yeah, we're moving on. There was another trade not too long after the Devontae Adams trade. Amari Cooper is now a Buffalo Bill. I mean, that sounds good or whatever. So what does that mean for Buffalo? So what's Buffalo's pecking order now? Like, rank those wide receivers for me now.
Right. So Amari Cooper. And then after that, I mean, I feel like this has to be played right now.
This or that pie bet. Somebody's getting pie.
And that person is going to be me, because Shakir is going to still get his targets. Curtis Samuel is basically dead. I would be really surprised. So in the way that I'm seeing it, it's going to go Cooper, Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel way off in the distance. He's not even on the field. He's off trying to find the pie for me.
Yeah. That's what I thought happened. So, like 2 weeks ago when Khalil Shakir missed the game, and I got a couple messages saying like, oh, it's time for Curtis Samuel to close the gap. He did. He did close the gap by 0.9. So, why? Hey, I don't know if you thought that we're talking about Deebo Samuel, or Curtis, but it's still a lot of season. I'm not.
Yeah.
I am not victory lapping because there is a lot of season to go. But it is really funny. And then with Amari Cooper coming to town, I'm like, ooh.
Right.
So that's the. But I agree with you on that pecking order. I think that's how it's gonna to shake out. But Cleveland. Okay, so Amari he left the hell that was the Cleveland Browns and Deshaun Watson. Even though Amari dropped like at least 2 or 3 touchdowns this season, so we can't put it all on Deshaun. But is your boy Jerry Jeudy now the alpha in Cleveland?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be, right? I mean, it's not that it's going to be a really great alpha because he's still got Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball, but who else is there? I mean, they don't have Donovan Peoples-Jones anymore, right? He's gone. DPJ.
I have no idea.
I don't even know. I don't even know who their wide receivers are.
Cedric Tillman, is he there?
Right.
I
think he's still there.
Is Ronnie Bell? Oh, well, Ronnie Bell, he was in Bell Biv DeVoe. So I don't know. I have no idea.
We're killing this.
We are killing this. So Cleveland, hey, Judy's got to be the alpha, right?
He's got to be.
Actually, Nick Chubb might line up out there.
Right.
Right.
Got Njoku still. Got Njoku.
Yeah, you got Njoku. Hey, Njoku to the moon. But hey, he's still got Deshaun throwing it to him. So I meant to put this in the question when I was asking about are we buying, selling, helping your team in the next few weeks. But Jonathan Brooks, he now has his window open. They got 21 days to do their whole thing. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to defer to your opinion on this particular player because, I mean, he's been your guy for a while. So, Rich, how are you viewing Jonathan Brooks now that his window of practice is open?
So I was really excited all year about Brooks coming back. And let me just start that off with saying that Brooks was my RB1 with where he landed and everything. And it was just a matter of time of when he was going to come back. He was going to take over that role. Chuba Hubbard's actually looked really good, surprisingly. And I'm not as confident anymore that Jonathan Brooks is going to come in and just supplant him right away. So I do think it's going to take some time. In the end of things, it's going to be Jonathan Brooks. For dynasty purposes, I'm still all in on Jonathan Brooks, and I'm trying to buy him. Like I would wait for people to see that Chuba Hubbard is still going to be the guy there because I do believe that he's going to be the guy there for a while. He's going to be on a leash, a little bit of a longer leash, and then once people start to panic a little bit, try to swoop in and see what you can get Jonathan Brooks for.
Okay. All right. I really thought you'd be a lot more bullish on Brooks. Like, coming in and everybody is he going to be ahead of Miles Sanders?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to talk about Miles Sanders anymore, man. You don't even know how many. Like this is new because I'm relatively new to it. But last year, Miles Sanders and me, we had a thing.
That had to hurt.
It left me in pain. Tears were shed.
That had to hurt. And shout out to Jamie in the chat. Like his thoughts on Deshaun Watson are kind of funny to me. Like, he's saying that, that his punishment is having to go out there and play every week. They're not going to bench him because they just want to make him suffer. And it looks like he's not having a good time. He's not having a good time. Oh, Sanders can go to the Cowboys. Yeah, Sanders can go to the Cowboys to do what? Play behind Uncle Rico and, just sit there. Right. Wow.
And Cowboys ain't going to do like that's the thing. I'm with you, Jamie, in the stance of I think the Sanders would be better than what they have back there right now with Rico, and I do think that he'd at least be a little bit of an upgrade. But Jerry Jones, like that was gonna. Oh, I'm saving it. Never mind. But Jerry Jones is a toxicity on that team that will never be beaten. Like I don't understand it.
What are you talking about? Like, I have no idea what you're talking about with Jerry Jones. Like, he was on one of those local radio stations down there, didn't like the questions they were asking, and he told them that if they didn't ask the right ones, he'd find people who would. Like, he's firing people who don't work for him. Jerry is he's been hanging out with David Tepper, hasn't he?
All right, so we weren't going to do a Gingerbeard Minute today, but that was what I was originally thinking about doing my Gingerbeard Minute on, was Jerry Jones and all that crap, because I was heated. Oh, I was heated when I heard that. I was so mad. I couldn't believe the balls on that man to be like, hey, you keep asking me these questions. I'm going to find somebody to ask me questions I like. What? What are you talking about?
Hold on, Rich, we have a call coming into the show. We have never had a call come in live on the show. We have a call coming in. It says it's Jay Jones from Dallas. And I'm just playing. What if Jerry called in to fire us?
Wait. Hey, if he's got that power,
yeah.
Jorge, I'm sorry for everything, but I'll understand too. I'll understand.
But close to what you're talking about, like with when you're talking about Brooks or whatever. So Robert Thomas in the chat has a question. If Chubert's long-term, like, what's his value now that he's kind of having like a mini breakouts year? Like, what do you think his value is in Dynasty?
Because the fact that I don't think that he's really the answer. I'm gonna say like a third, late second. I think that again, waiting until things kind of play out a little bit with Jonathan Brooks getting on the field and everything and seeing how that plays out. Like you got to wait for that first. But then once he's on the field and you have an idea of the pecking order and how things are going to go down, and if I'm right, Chuba Hubbard does get to stay as the guy there for a little bit longer, then yeah, I would be trying to flip him for whatever I can to a contending team.
Well said. All right, Rich. So now that we've taken our time and we've combed through like what has happened the beginning of this week, like we can breathe a little bit, like calm down. We're gonna move past Jerry Jones and Aaron Rodgers. We're gonna leave the ego behind us now. We're on to much better things right now. So
that's right.
We're coming to like a show. Like I look forward up the part of the show where I really look forward to this. Like, so we had some of our listeners, whatever, send in their teams, and we're just going to look at those teams and kind of talk about how we feel, like what we think our thoughts are. So just to let you guys know, I have not done a deep dive into these teams. So you're pretty much going to be getting my reaction like in real time, so I don't know if I got a good poker face, but if I'm like, then, it might not be a good thing. All right, Rich, so I'm going to bring to the screen now. Oh, can you see that? That's still small, huh?
It's a little small, but I can kind of read it. Which team is this?
So this is going to be Team 1, and I'll tell you about Team 1. So Team 1 is a 12-team Superflex, half-point PPR. You start 11, and it is a half-point tight end premium. This team also has all of its 2025 and all of its 2026 picks.
Okay. All right. Yep.
So for those who are listening, I can tell you a little bit about the team. So for starters, Caleb Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, he has Vidal in there, Garrett Wilson, Malik Neighbors, Devontae Smith, Isaiah Likely, Kincaid, Bowers, Jameson Williams, Lamar Jackson, Flacco, Wentz, Rudolph, Richardson, Emmanuel Wilson, Shipley, Sermon, Zamir White, Kendra Miller, Malachi Corley, Jalen Polk, Jermaine Burton, Jalen Naylor, Marvin Naylor is probably the worst person on his team. Like, I don't even like the team that he plays for. Arthur Mims, Tyler Conklin, and Jonathan Brooks. And you know what? You've been going first tonight, so I'm going to go first. Yeah. So I'm looking at this team right now, and I kind of like the bones of this team. I like the youth, and I like the strength in the positions that it has. So when it comes to the running back, so right now you got Jahmyr Gibbs and you got Kamani Vidal, and like Zamir White, Kendra Miller, Jonathan Brooks. I mean, so right now, like, you've got some stuff to work with. So Gibbs and Brooks are going to be your running backs, moving forward and all this stuff. And then you have like some depth plays like with White, Miller. I mean, I really like that. Your wide receivers, I love your wide receivers. I'm a huge Malik Neighbors fan. Garrett Wilson, as I told you guys earlier, like if the price is right, I'm trying to buy him right now. I think you're going to be good with that. And then Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, when he comes back, that's pretty good. That's a good squad. And then at tight end, Dalton Kincaid, Brock Bowers, and then likely, I really like this team a lot. I think this is a team that, and you have all your picks going forward for the next 2 years. This is a team that I'm riding. Like I'm going to, like I do some churning on the bottom of that bench to try to acquire some, like people who have a clearer path to like production, but just keep it good at going and just like building on that. But I think that the base that you have this team on is pretty strong. I like it a lot, really, for a dynasty.
Yeah. No, I really do too. And this was I just had it up too. I believe it is FFB at FF Ballers. He was the one that sent this one in. I don't know. Were we keeping this anonymous?
I mean, I was gonna keep it anonymous.
Okay, my bad.
Shout out,
I love this team, so I don't think that it should stay anonymous. I think that he needs to be celebrated. You know what I mean? Because I really dig it. I love all the positions. I think that they're all solid, except for the RB position. I'm a little bit worried about. He does have Jonathan Brooks coming back, but like I was saying, I don't think he's going to make an immediate impact. Yep. He also talked about in the tweet. I don't know if you saw that, but he was also talking about the fact that he has a trade that's going on. Let me run it by you real quick.
Yeah, please.
Or should we leave that one alone?
No, we can run it.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So he's working on trying to send Jonathan Brooks, Jamison Williams, and his 25 firsts for Kenneth Walker, DJ Moore, and Tyreek Hill.
I don't like that.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say keep what you got right now. Mm-hmm. He's 4-2.
Yep.
You keep what you got going on. It's working for you. If anything, I would probably be. I mean, I would sell my picks, but I'd be selling them 4 pieces and not like I would try to sell the pick by itself for DJ Moore or who was the Kenneth Walker. Like if you need a running back, go sell that first round pick for Kenneth Walker. See if you can get him. Yeah. But as far as like Tyreek Hill, I'm not sold on him this year. I think that he's not going to make much of an impact for your team any more than what you already have there. I'd be looking at other wide receivers. Like honestly, I would be trying to sell my second for Juju Smith-Schuster, like something like that.
Yep, I agree. So for me, I'm not trying to acquire Tyreek Hill just because he's on a terrible team, and I don't think he's going to play football too much longer. I don't think you're going to get that return on investment. I'm not trading for Kenneth Walker just because like the way your team is constructed right now, like you feel that you need running back help, but your bones are so good and running backs have the shortest shelf life of anybody on your team right now. So if you go get Kenneth Walker could very well be a dud as soon as 2026. So I'm not, giving up assets that I could acquire for that. I mean, like if you have all your picks, you still can like play that game where you're drafting running backs where everybody is going for those, wide receivers and stuff that are drafted in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round that aren't going to do anything late in those drafts, and you're just scooping up all the running backs with all the picks that you have. Somebody's going to hit because running backs get churned so much. But in a 3-year window, Kenneth Walker is not in my plans. Like he's actually come to the point in his career where I am trying to move him on because I'm trying to move on from him. Because like I said, I'm not trying to get stuck holding the bag for anybody. And really and truly, I'd probably trade away Jahmyr Gibbs as well and try to get a haul from somebody who's really in love with him. And I would put together my running backs to actually still be committed because, the way the football game is played right now, like the way fantasy football is played right now, you no longer need to have those stalwarts at running back every week in and week out. You can actually put stuff together to make it work. But the rest of your team is so solid, you definitely can be a little loose with the running back.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So we're going to go to our second team. And this team is it's a 12-team, 1-quarterback league, though. Their current record is 2-4. And the owner, he said he feels kind of lost after he traded, some picks for Christian McCaffrey. And as we all know, Christian McCaffrey has not played this season. So he's feeling a little lost, trying to figure out what he needs to do with this squad. I'll give you the rundown. For start, he has Patrick Mahomes, he has Jordan Mason, Josh Jacobs, Garrett Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Trey McBride, Jalen Waddle, Zay Flowers, Mike Evans. On the bench, Kyler Murray, Roshan Johnson, Jaleel McLaughlin, Jalen Warren, Chandler, Spears, DJ Moore, Tutu Atwell, Olave, Freiermuth, and he's got CMC on IR. And on his taxi squad, Sennett, McMillan, Burton. And he has his 2025 third and fourth, and his 2026 second and fourth. So it looks like he traded that 2025 first and second and that 26 first to get CMC, which I understand what he was doing because, like, if you look at the rest of his team, like, it makes sense what he's doing. But Rich, I went first last time, so you got the honors this time.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. And again, this was another team that I love this team actually, and it's rough for him. He said that he's only 2-4 right now, but just stay the course, man. Expect a turnaround. I'm expecting a turnaround for you. It's a solid and young. You're young in a lot of positions. Christian McCaffrey, that hurts, but you got Jordan Mason at least still, and he's looking good while he's out there. Yeah, I even went through and made some positional grades. Gave you for quarterbacks. I love your quarterbacks. I gave them an A+. Running back, I gave an A-. Wide receivers an A. So is tight end. I really think that all across the board that you are solid. You're just running into some bad luck there with I'm guessing with some of the weeks just not going your way. Defense is a little different. I noticed that he's got a defense in there. That was a defense in Dynasty. I'm in my first Dynasty that has a defense in there, so a little nod to you, but
change the bylaws.
It's different. It shakes things up. I like the Bears. I think that the Bears defense is a good defense. So, but yeah, overall, no, I really dig it. And I just stay the course, man. I wouldn't buy or sell. The only thing that I would maybe do, because I Cortland Sutton and Jalen Waddle, worried about those two. I would maybe try to find a different wide receiver. You got DJ Moore on your bench. I would maybe try to find another one. Like, again, I'm just recommending this to everybody that is possibly contending. Go get Juju Smith-Schuster. He's going to be the guy there until, I mean, Rashee Rice is gone. What am I saying until? Rashee Rice is gone. So we all saw what he did 2 weeks ago. He already has chemistry with Mahomes. They already trust each other. He's not going to be very expensive. The person that is selling him is going to be happy to get anything for him. They should be anyways. I know I would be. I'm trying to sell him in several of my leagues that I'm rebuilding in, and I'm like, hey, pennies on the dollar. Let's do this. I just want something for him right now. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, that's my take.
I agree with you. So I like this team a lot too. I don't think that you're out of it. I mean, because you have a good team. It's just seems like you've just been unlucky. You know, Christian McCaffrey, like if he comes back and he finishes off the end of the season and the playoff run strong, then that's always going to be a huge bump. Even with Cortland Sutton right there and and Jalen Waddle and everything, like he has DJ Moore, he has Chris Olave on the bench also. So he has depth. And just missing the first and second next year, okay. But if you look at how his team is going, I really like what's going. I agree with Rich. Stay the course. I don't think he's going to finish as bad as what's going now. It just seems like it's a lot of bad luck. And my take on defenses in Dynasty, the reason why I do not like them, because defensive change, it's like the defensive rankings and how they play and everything, it changes every 4 weeks.
Right.
Having a defense that you're carrying year in and year out, in a Dynasty, I kind of feel that you're not going to get the true value out of it because that defensive position, defense has just changed so much. So
yeah,
but that's just me.
No, I am one with you actually. I get that out of there and put in another flex spot, maybe a super flex spot. But yeah, defense, if I had to choose between a defense or a kicker, I'm taking the kicker because at least the kicker, I don't have to worry about getting me negative points some week. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I agree with what Dale is saying. Is he kidding you? Is that Dale kidding you, Rich?
That's my brother.
Okay. Hey, Dale, is your beard as nice as Rich's? That's all I want to know.
No, it's not.
Yeah. But I agree. It does look like he's fighting. And also, so Jamie has a question how do we submit to these? Well, Jamie, do you follow Rich and I on Twitter? Because There was a post asking people to submit, but no, like if you follow us on Twitter or anything, you can just submit that to us or leave it in the chat, like if you're interested. But yeah, like you send us our team in, we put them up here, we talk about them, and we move on from there. And at least do an IDP for IDP Flex. You know what?
That's
yeah.
I like that. Yeah,
I agree with that 100%.
100%.
Initially, I started reading that thinking you're asking us to do IDP, and I'm like, that's shoot the gap, and they might, try to put us in the squared circle if we step on their toes. But
but no, add that IDP and then go and watch Shoot the Gap for all the information that you need to win that IDP league.
That is true. They got you covered for that. And Jamie, I understand I suck at Twitter also, but we will figure it out. Like, how do you do?
We won't hold it against you,
so we can talk about it. But yeah, but that's that. So, Rich, I think we got time. We're gonna for another team. Oh, we're good.
Oh yeah.
So let's go to our third team. So this is a 12-team super flex that we're about to bring to the stage. And now coming to the stage is Diamond, a 12-team super flex start 11. Rich, I don't understand why you're laughing, but a 1.5 tight end premium. Let's look at this team here. All right. So this team comes in, and all right, we got Aiden O'Connell, Trace Sermon, Miles Sanders, Tank Dell, Mike Williams, Noah Gray, Dalvin Cook, Trey McBride, Mark Andrews, Trey Benson, Justin Fields, Jimmy G, Stafford, Darnold, Huntley, Lloyd, Marshawn Lloyd, Devin Singletary, Jonathan Taylor, Xavier Worthy, Taysom Hill, McCarthy, Ricky Pearsall, TJ Hawkinson, Puka Nacua. Wow, injuries have been real kind to you this season.
Right.
Dennis Allen, Eric All, Jared Wiley. All right, so
I could hear the disappointment in your voice growing as you were going further down the list.
And it's not disappointment. It's like, as I'm reading this, and I feel this user's pain as I'm looking at this team, because if this is my team, I'd just be like, what do I do with this team? Because it's like, but here's the thing. I look back and I see like the structure that he was making and like the path that he was going on with the team. But like I was saying, like, there's been a whole lot of bad luck or whatever, right? So you're losing all your running backs where you have to start Miles Sanders, like we've already talked about him.
Rough.
And you had to start Dalvin Cook. Like that's really, really rough. So when you lose all your running backs and you have to start Dalvin Cook, then we know that you're down bad. The tight ends, like Andrews, I mean, he's been on the milk carton for, like 5/6 of the season. Benson, he's the rookie and everything, but it's still Connor's team right now. Fields has actually done better than people expected. I mean, but you look at the injuries, like, so McCarthy, you were planning on starting him this season, like in his rookie season, but you didn't get that. Hawkinson, TJ, he's been out, so you didn't get to use him. Puka, he played a game, and then you lost him. I mean, so there are some things that I would change about this team. Your running backs, your running back depth, those are depth pieces. You weren't trying to start them. You just had to. So that's Xavier Worthy. Like, he could – I'm looking at – so, Rich, I don't know. Maybe have more context about this. What are the picks? Like, what is the pick situation with this team? Do you know?
No, I don't. That was the one thing that we were missing. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check real quick. I'm pretty sure that he had all of his picks.
Oh, yeah. Yep, he does. He's got his 2025 first, second, and fourth.
Yeah.
And he's got his 2026 first, third, and fourth. And then all 2027 picks.
Yep. So, yeah. What? Any final thoughts on?
No, I mean, I've tossed it to you because
okay,
all right, you might help a little better right now.
Sure. So, this team needs a makeover. That was my top note. There are things that I do like about it. Like, I like the tight ends and the quarterbacks. You got McBride, you got Hawkinson. I actually like Noah Gray. I think that he's a nice stash in a lot of leagues. Just because once Kelsey goes, just a little bit. I feel his pain though. Like, so many of my leagues are in that same state of where he's at. So like I'm feeling him. Quarterbacks, you got JJ McCarthy, you got Fields, Darnold. How embarrassed are you that your wife is last in your that must be
Rich,
you?
Yeah,
Oh
Rich,
yeah,
I don't mean to cut you off, like
yeah.
but so Melissa Burns is, how embarrassed am I that my wife is last in her fantasy football league? I'm not embarrassed at all. It ain't my team. and she didn't ask any of my advice when she picked the team. So like I told you guys a couple weeks ago, like she's in bots, they're like Battle of the Sexes, for charity, the absolute first fantasy league that she has ever done. And she didn't look for any help. She went and did this on her own. Like she drafted the team and everything. And Christian McCaffrey was her first pick. And as we were talking about earlier, he hasn't helped her out a lot. So she's had some bad luck. So you know what, Burns? I love her to death. And I give her so much credit for sticking with it. But her team's actually won a few games.
Yeah.
And next year will be better. Like we all
I'm waiting to see her come off camera and just
don't give her any ideas. But Melissa, you know what? I give you so much credit for sticking with it and like putting that team together and yeah. But no, me being embarrassed, I'm not embarrassed at all.
Not one bit.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you come in here trying to kick the wheels on my chair, then like losing in fantasy ain't the only thing. I'm joking. But anyhow, Rich, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to respond to my level of embarrassment.
I saw it in the chat and I was just waiting. But no, so I like the tight ends, I like the quarterbacks. I do like Benson a lot, like we talked about a little bit earlier, I believe. I do think he's going to be the back there in the end of things. Puka, Worthy, Dell, all great. I think that they're going to be solid pieces for you in the future. Yeah. I obviously I don't know what the record is here, but I don't think that you're competing this year, and so I would be making some moves to sell pieces. Mark Andrews, get what you can get for him. Matt Stafford, this is a super flex league, I do believe. Yes, yeah, yep, super flex league. So I'd be trying to sell Stafford. Jonathan Taylor, who knows what's going on there? And like you were saying, running backs just kind of fall off a cliff these days, and they're not used the same way that they used to be used. So who knows what actually is going to happen with Jonathan Taylor? He's somebody that I would probably try to move on from right now. If you can try to trick somebody into taking Devin Singletary off your hands.
Very sneaky.
Very sneaky. Yes. The only other ones that I had question marks about were Hawkinson and Darnold. I'm trying to put aside my bias here. You all know that I'm a Vikings fan, so trying to put aside my bias. Like I said earlier, I'm a little bit worried about Hawkinson this year. We're moving forward with this offense. I think in the end of things, he's still a good piece to have. He is a little bit on the older side. I think he's like 27. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. Yep, 27 exactly. Nailed it. But no, I think that I would hold on to Hawkinson. Darnold, just because it is super flex, I'd probably hold on to him too. He might be somebody that you can flip to a contender though, and try to get some big pieces for him. So just something to keep an eye on. As far as positional grades go, I gave your quarterback a B. Running backs was a C-. Wide receivers needed some work. They're C+. But again, loved your tight ends. A. Gave that an A.
Yeah, the tight ends are great. And really, like, the only thing that I would offer, like, your team's got to go through some transition, so a facelift. First thing I would be focused on is getting rid of the roster cloggers. Like Jimmy Garoppolo, you're never going to play him. Like, even with the quarterbacks that you have right now, you're not going to play him. Tyler Huntley, I don't think he's going to be a thing in Miami to really help out either. So just some of these guys, if you could just move them and actually start working that waiver wire, finding those guys who you can see some path to, opportunity, and then you get them and you just flip them real quick, buy low and sell them high, because They say a sucker's born every day, and if you don't know who the sucker is in your league, well, it's you.
I gotta pick this up real quick.
Yeah,
Jamie, you follow us both. I just followed you back. My bad, man. I'm sorry. I thought I was following you. I could have sworn I was following you. And no, you're good stuff, man. I got to meet Jamie at out in Canton, and yeah, no.
So Jamie was at the expo.
Yeah, he was at the expo. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I was pretty drunk, so I'll be honest. It might have been another Jamie, but I'm like 95% positive that I got to meet you, Jamie.
Jamie, were you at the expo? Before we sign off, Jamie, were you at the expo? All right. All right. And with that, we have just finished another episode of Dynasty 365. Always fun. Always love. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I was there. Met Rich at the Saturday party, but you didn't meet me. I kind of hurts my feelings.
Oh, Dale, you weren't there. Shut up.
I mean, Rich, I met you at the expo.
That's right.
We did. Do you remember that?
I do. Actually, I'll be honest. I don't remember first meeting you, but I do remember meeting you. It was a wild and crazy time.
When you got there, excuse me, the first night when you got there, I was already in bed asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember everybody like, yeah, Rich showed up, and I was like, yeah, I was not awake during those hours. So but yeah, I saw you when because I was coming down and you were going up to the elevator or whatever, and I don't even think you had been to sleep yet.
That's right. Yeah. No, I do remember that.
Yeah, you had to go to the front desk to get toothpaste or something because you had
I had no toothpaste and it was not good.
Yeah, and your 30 minutes of sleep.
Yeah.
But with that, everybody, we have completed another episode of Dynasty 365. Thank you so much to everybody who supports us. It's very much appreciated. Thank you to everybody who's with us always in the chat. Would love to see your comments, questions, and everything. So thank you for that. And the people who submitted their teams for us to talk about on the podcast tonight, we really appreciate it. We really hope that you guys, really put it all together and go out there and win those championships. None of the teams are really terrible, so you guys have done good work putting together what you have. So now you just got to do some fine tuning to just make it a championship team that you want. But make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can find Rich on Twitter or X at Rich Sickles GBM. I'm at Dynasty Deviant. And if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure that you like, subscribe, and, leave a comment if you want, because we like hearing that stuff, like especially Rich. Like, look at that beard. Like, he didn't even comb it today because he felt that you guys don't love it anymore. So just make Rich feel good. Subscribe to our shows on YouTube, like I just said. And while you're checking out the fantasyandframes.com, you can also find all of the talented people that work at Fantasy and Frames. Jorge has put together a great team that's helping you get through the fantasy football season. Fantasy Football Wednesdays. Fifth Wednesdays, we kick it off. We're Dynasty 365. We got you covered for all your Dynasty needs. Following us is Fourth and Frames for all your redraft content. And behind them, as we talked about earlier in the show, is Shoot the Gap, giving you that hard-hitting analysis on all your IDP content. Also, tune in on Tuesdays for the Waiver Wire show. You get to see Rich and company again. And my head is not bald. There's hair there, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I just got a haircut today, Jamie. But I thank you. I appreciate the love. But yeah, I'm not bald. I have hair. And I have a full head of hair. I really do.
A little salty up there. Just a little salty.
There's a little snow on the mountain, but we're all good.
Yeah.
But again, thank you to you, Jamie, loving my angle. Yeah, it's the angle. Yes. But thank you to Jamie, everybody in the chat. Thank you to everybody who watches, listens, and those in the comments. We appreciate you all. Good night, everybody. Now let's go out there and dominate those Dynasty leagues. Rich, take us out.